Live this morning at our nation's capital, where it's been a whirlwind few weeks since President Trump started his second term. And as week 4 of the second Trump administration kicks off, we want to get you up to speed on some of the headlines that you may have missed. I want to now bring in senior staff writer for thehill.com, Alex Bolton. Alex, happy Monday morning to you. Democrats, we are finding this one interesting. Democrats are now threatening a government shutdown over some of these early actions from President Trump. Take a quick listen from Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey.
I would be the last person to want to get to that stage. But we are at a point where we are basically on the cusp of a constitutional crisis.
Yeah, so Alex, my question to you is, can Democrats actually shut down the government as a means of defense or payback? And how exactly would that help their cause?
Well, they can shut it down by refusing to pass spending legislation. And there's a March 14th deadline coming up. Government's not funded beyond that. Federal agencies and departments would shutter. They still have essential employees on duty, but a lot of its work would be stopped. Now, does that actually help them? That's a good question. Perhaps it could help them politically if it makes Trump look like he's out of control or he can't lead. But on the other hand, if Elon Musk is going around trying to cut government spending, trying to lock federal employees out of the workplace while he reviews programs, actually shutting down the government might make his job easier because a lot of people would be furloughed. So I think it's a double-edged sword. And I think that opinion voiced by Kim, that made big news over the weekend, but I'm not sure all Democrats are going to agree with it. In fact, I'm sure there will be disagreement within the Democratic caucus in both Senate and House over that very bold and confrontational strategy.
Yeah, some pushback on those remarks for sure. What are you expecting in the coming weeks on this spending bill fight?
Well, people are just now starting to pay more attention to it because there's been so much stuff going on. But with this March 14th deadline coming up, I think it seems more likely that there won't be any sort of deal to finish the spending bills for this year, 2025. They were supposed to be done at the end of last year. And so I think what there could happen, I think what the Democrats are more likely to do is to push for essentially bills, stopgap funding measures, congressional resolution, continuing resolutions that keep funding levels as is. At this point, that would be a victory for Democrats, given these cuts that Elon Musk and Republicans are pushing. If that happens, defense spending will be especially hit hard, while non-defense social programs, which Democrats like, will be less impacted. So there will be a lot of drama. There will be, I think, a lot of gridlock. And as you reported, and as others have reported, the likelihood of a government shutdown, that is definitely increasing. Although we're still a few weeks away, a month away, I think government shutdown seems more imminent.
Okay, we'll take that one day by day, see where it heads. Lastly, before I let you go, speaking of Elon Musk, President Trump is signaling that Musk will be turning his sights now to the education department as early as today, Alex. After Musk recently posted this, he said, "What is this Department of Education you keep talking about? I just checked and it doesn't exist." I mean, Alex, how's this all going to go over, especially as Education Secretary nominee Linda McMahon prepares for her confirmation hearing later this week for the department?
Well, certainly it's going to be more grist for the mill, more ammo for Democrats in particular to criticize the Trump administration. But, you know, talk about abolishing Department of Education. That has been around for a while among Republicans. In fact, it was something that was discussed, during the 2024 Republican presidential primary. So it's not a new idea. Republicans argue that most educational responsibilities are funded by state and local governments, and that there really should not be much of a role for the federal government to play. However, certainly, what the ramifications would be remain to be explored, whether it would affect Title I funding, basically for schools for disadvantaged students, where you have poor students, where they have subsidies for lunches, et cetera, what it would mean for Pell Grants for people who, from lower income families who want to go to college. That it all remains to be explored. While there has been talk about abolishing Department of Education in Republican circles before on the campaign trail, it's never been looked at as seriously as it's being looked at now. And I think Elon Musk is trolling there by saying, what Department of Education? Does it even exist? Yeah. Dangling it out there, as he likes to do, to be provocative on social media.
Yeah, well, to your point, it is a serious conversation right now, and that would be something to see it done away with and what those domino effects would eventually look like. Alex Bolton, I got to leave it there, but thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.